Welcome back to Curious Minds. I'm Jessica, and will be your host for today's episode.
And I'm Mark. Great to be here with you all. Today, we're diving into a topic I think almost everyone has heard about before. Within a short period, it has affected a huge part of Earth's population, and there is no end in sight.
It's a big one. Today we're asking, why do we get addicted to social media?
Indeed. Let's start with something relatable. Have you ever picked up your phone to check the weather, and then 20 minutes later you find yourself deep in a scroll hole with no idea how you got there?
Oh, absolutely. Or it's 2 a.m, you know you need to sleep, but you just keep scrolling, telling yourself just one more video. It also speaks volumes that some people spend what feels like ages in the restroom just because they have their phone with them.
Right, that mindless so-called doom scrolling. It feels almost automatic. And that's really the starting point for this whole conversation. It feels rewarding, doesn't it?
It does. And every time you see a like, a comment, or even just a new post from someone you follow, your brain gets a tiny little hit of pleasure. It feels like a reward.
And that's where we get into the brain chemistry of it all. We're talking about dopamine.
Right. Dopamine often gets called the pleasure chemical, but that's a bit of an oversimplification. A better way to think about it is as the motivation chemical. It's what drives you to seek out rewards.
So it's not just the feeling you get when you see a notification, it's the anticipation. Your brain is saying, hey, maybe there's something good waiting for me if I just pull down to refresh the feed.
Exactly. It's like a slot machine. You pull the lever, or in this case, you refresh the page, not knowing what you'll get. Sometimes it's nothing, sometimes it's a little something, and sometimes it's a big jackpot of interesting content or notifications. That unpredictability is what makes it so compelling.
That's the key, variable rewards. And it's important to remember this isn't an accident. These apps are designed by very smart people to keep us engaged for as long as possible.
You're talking about features like infinite scroll, right? Where the content never ends, so there's never a natural stopping point.
Infinite scroll, the pull to refresh mechanism we just talked about, auto-playing videos, even the little red notification bubbles, they're all engineered to trigger that dopamine response and keep you coming back for more. They're creating a loop.
And it's not just the design, it's the social pressure too. There's the whole fear of missing out, or FOMO. If you're not constantly checking, you might miss a viral trend, an important conversation, or an update from a friend.
That's a huge factor. Plus, for a lot of people, social media has become their primary source of news and information. They feel they need to be logged on to stay informed about what's happening in the world, which just reinforces the cycle.
So this brings up an interesting point. Is this just a bad habit, or is it a true addiction? Where do we draw the line?
That's a great question. A habit is an action you do automatically, often without much thought, like tying your shoes. An addiction, on the other hand, is a compulsive engagement in a behavior despite negative consequences.
So if you're losing sleep, your work is suffering, you're ignoring the people around you because you can't put your phone down, and you feel dull and unmotivated as soon as you do, that's when a habit crosses over into something more serious. It's about the negative impact it has on your life.
Precisely. The behavior becomes compulsive, and you feel like you've lost control over it.
Okay, so this sounds a little scary, but the good news is that we're not powerless. There are simple ways to take back control, right? To reduce that screen time.
Absolutely. The first and maybe easiest step is to turn off non-essential notifications. Those little pings and red dots are designed to pull you in. If they're not there, you're checking your phone on your terms, not the app's. Nowadays, some phones do have a function to reduce the entire phone's interface down to 2 or 3 colors so that the brain does not get stimulated by all the different colored apps and notifications.
Oh, that's a big one. I also find that setting specific times for checking social media helps. Like, I won't check it for the first hour after I wake up. It creates a boundary. I even tend to put my phone on mute for while I'm at work. That helps me create some mental distance from social media, and I don't keep on interrupting myself from being productive.
Creating no phone zones is another great strategy. Maybe the dinner table is a tech-free zone, or you leave your phone charging in another room an hour before bed.
And maybe the most important thing is to find a replacement. If your default is to scroll when you're bored, try picking up a book, going for a short walk, or just sitting with your thoughts for a few minutes. You have to replace the habit with something else.
That's a fantastic point. It's about being intentional with your time instead of letting an algorithm decide for you. I've heard from someone who just starts chewing bubblegum whenever they feel the urge to check their TikTok feed. Reminds me of coping mechanisms if you want to quit smoking. Not sure how that makes me feel about social media.
Yikes! So, to wrap this all up in a short, clear explanation, we get hooked on social media because it's designed to trigger our brain's reward system using unpredictable little hits of dopamine, just like a slot machine.
And this builds a powerful habit that can sometimes feel like an addiction. The key to breaking free is to become mindful of our usage, remove the triggers like notifications, and intentionally choose how we spend our time.
Perfectly put. Well, that's all the time we have for today.
Thanks for listening to Curious Minds. Have a wonderful day. Maybe give reducing your screen time a try, and see you next time.